why I just laughed like that. What's going on, everyone? Welcome to a new episode of Mostly Wrong Opinions. I am Tyrone. That gentleman right there is Devin. And what we're going to talk about today is Mortal Kombat.
It had the same marking you do, Cole.
It's a birthmark.
What do you mean?
He was born with it.
It's not a birthmark, Cole. It means you've been chosen.
Throughout history, different cultures all over the world reference a great tournament of champions. That dragon marking? I think it's an invitation to fight for something known. As Mortal Kombat.
Okay. So, this movie came out on the 23rd of April, presented to everyone by HBO Max, and it's out in theaters. Now, the original movie, when it came out in 95, I was 9 years old, and I was like, yo, to be able to go see this movie, because I played the game, I loved the game, and it was just fun, you know, and you got to see, you know, hello, you know, your soul is mine.
Your brother's soul is mine.
You would be next. All that awesome stuff, you know, it was great, you know, characters in that, and you knew the characters from the game, and it just felt good.
Your soul is mine.
Shang Tsung wins. Fatality.
The 2021 version did not feel good to me. And the reason why it didn't feel good to me, man, is because this film did not know what it wanted to be. Again, and it's kind of like the Annihilation 2.0 to me.
Okay, I don't know. All right. I feel like I knew exactly who it was.
Okay. Explain.
and that was a bunch of shit. I think it knew it. And it knew it. It knew itself so well. It knew itself better than I knew it. If you remember, when we saw the trailer, I was like having all these guesses. The first thing I said, I was like, there's no way Cole is just a dude named Cole. No one's that stupid. Tyrone, he was just a dude named Cole. He was just a dude named Cole. I'm sitting here the whole time. I'm doing all this crazy calculus. I'm like, no, you know, he could be Scorpion's son, or you know what, maybe it could be Sub-Zero's brother, or it could be this person or that. I'm thinking of all kind of twists. The twist in this movie is that there's no twist. He really is just a guy named Cole who is a distant relative of Sub-Zero, and I'm sorry, of Scorpion. You're right, of Scorpion, and I both commend them for that, because that's actually kind of bold to be doing something different, but also it's like, wow, is that boring? Whoa, is that boring? And we spoke a little bit before we started, and if you'd have told me that this movie, after watching the trailer, if you'd have told me that this movie would be slow, Tyrone, if you'd have told me that Mortal Kombat would be slow, I wouldn't have believed you. I would have said you're lying.
Talk about Basil coming in and explaining stuff.
Oh my god, who knew it was Basil? It's ridiculous.
It's crazy.
Oh my gosh. And like Raiden, that's all he did. Was just stand there and explain things.
The time has long passed. Our enemies have claimed 9 straight victories. One more victory, and Outward will gain control over Earth forever. And Shang Tsung will enslave the entire human race. Sorry, what I missed.
Yeah, that's it. And then I think he might have like pointed his hand and he was like, "Arr!" And then after that, he kept explaining things.
When in the beginning of the movie, let's say this. Let me say this too. I understand why WB and Warner Brothers released that footage a couple of days ago that I reacted to on Europe Nation Reactions. Go check it out. And I understand it because they had to get people that's not really into the whole video game world or Mortal Kombat world or whatever, and hook, line, and sinker and get them in there, because the first opening minutes was the intriguing part, and then you're like, okay.
No, it wasn't. I hated the opening. I'm so glad I didn't see it. I saw that they had the 7 minutes. I saw you reacting, but I was like, you know what? I can't watch it because it'll be out of context, and I'm gonna rip it. So I don't want to do that. And so I was like, I want to watch it in context because I saw pictures of it and it looked bad. So I'm like, ooh, let's just wait. You know, when I saw the opening sequence, Tyrone, we had a previous episode where we talked about movies fridging women. Did this movie literally froze a woman in the first scene? She was literally frozen with ice off of her face. Like, what?
But that's what Sub-Zero does. But here,
yeah, I know, but you don't do when they do this to specifically a female character, right? This is the movie tipping its hand by accident, right? And the hand tip is this movie was written by dudes. They don't know what to do with this lady, so they kill her. You know, what do you do with women? You kill them, and then that's the guy's motivation, right? So this is a hand tip that your writer is a male and he's lazy. And so I'm like, oh no, this is where we're starting. That scene had my heart beating. I was like, oh my gosh, how awful. But if I want to say something positive about this movie, because I don't have much positive to say, honestly. I didn't like this movie. But I do have something positive to say about the movie. I did like a little switch they did where they made Sub-Zero Chinese and Scorpion Japanese. Originally, that's interesting.
They're both Japanese characters.
他不在。汉族どこだ？
But are you going to give a little bit credit to the film being very video game accurate to the gore, or no?
What gore? So the bulk of the movie is people standing around talking, which is why you were drowsy while you were watching the movie. Yeah. So every 7 or 8 scenes there'd be a fight, and the fight would be obscured by some sort of either fast-paced cutting or bad weather, or something would obscure the fight. That way they can cut down on the CGI, right? And at the end of the fight, there'd be a little bit of gore. I thought to myself, Devin, don't be so hard on this movie. People, they don't care about stories, right? They just want gore. They want gore, and they want to recognize things. That's it. They just want to say, look, I know what that is, and look, there's blood. That's it. So I'm like, all right, lower your expectations. So I'm like, as long as I see gore, I will know that people are enjoying this film. I thought the gore was kind of lame. I thought it wasn't even that serious. And most of the blood was like that digital blood, which looks so fake. It didn't look interesting at all to me. And I didn't think it was that bloody.
Which, by the way, with this movie being called Mortal Kombat, and we all know Mortal Kombat is a tournament to determine the fate of the realms of the there was no tournament here, people. Not
Tyrone, there was no Mortal Kombat in Mortal Kombat. This whole movie was a prequel to Mortal Kombat. Yeah. This was like Mortal pre-combat. It was ridiculous. I'm like, what? And so if you really start thinking about things, then right. So there are some major characters who get killed in this film, and I'm sure we'll talk about it in a second. But you're telling me these guys, these major characters who survived 12 games, they didn't even make it to Mortal Kombat. They didn't even get to the tournament. That's crazy to me. Yeah. But see, at the same time, though, right? You could say if this movie were actually good, I think what I would be saying is, oh, that's kind of bold that they took that risk and they did something different, right? That they actually inverted your expectations. No one would have expected that this whole movie would have no tournament in it. But unfortunately, the movie's a big old turd, and then there's no tournament, and so the combination is lethal. It's so bad.
Bro, this movie took place in Raiden's dojo, whatever it's called.
Yeah, it's like his cave.
His cave, yeah. It's like a mud cave.
Yeah, his cave. The whole thing. Yeah, it's actually, Tyron's a good point. This movie moved from Sonya Blade's shitty trailer to Raiden's mud cave. And then their one big set they used twice, and it was that set. It was the cage fight set. So the first time we see it, it looks normal, and the second time we see it, it's frozen over. So like, dang, this movie just felt small and cheap.
Felt small, cheap. Shang Tsung was in the middle on this huge platform that's like in the air, and it's like supposed to be like a cliff. And I'm like, isn't he supposed to have a fucking island?
That's true.
He's supposed to have an island where all the competitors come and fight. And I'm like, it was just, now, they did have something in there that's like an Easter egg. When Liu Kang was doing his Basil stuff, and he was taking Sonya Blade and Kano, which, by the way, Kano was good. Kano, his character was entertaining. Okay, yeah,
right.
so.
I was telling our mutual friend Blair that I thought Kano looked old. Like he was about 42 years old. Like I thought Kano always came across to me as younger. I mean, it's hard to tell in a video game, but because he's like so wild, I always thought he was a little bit younger. But the actor was kind of old. So,
yeah,
but anyway.
But the actor that played the part was probably the best one that's acting, because if you look at Liu Kang was this, I'm here to protect and all this just.
I don't know. I think that's okay. Liu Kang is supposed to be like that. He's supposed to be super straight and narrow, bland, boring. He's the most boring one. We talked about that before. I was like, get Liu Kang off the screen. He's the most boring. So if he's boring and bland, I don't know. That's pretty accurate. I was okay with Liu Kang.
But what he picked up in the cave was actually an amulet of an elder god.
Mm-hmm. Was that Shinnok's amulet?
Shinnok's amulet, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, oh, look at that! They got Shinnok's amulet, but they didn't say nothing about Shinnok.
Well, see, that's the whole movie is like that. The whole movie is just Easter eggs and stuff. And see, I'm watching it. I'm like, I bet you people will confuse nostalgia and confuse recognizing things with a good movie. Like there's a scene early on where they show where Jax is going through that set that I was telling you about, the set they use multiple times just before he fights Sub-Zero, and you can see on the back behind him on the wall there is some graffiti, and on the graffiti there is the control buttons to do a like a Sub-Zero blast thing, right? So it's like down forward, low punch. So it's like, oh, haha, I get it. Great. That's the whole movie. It's just, you're supposed to be remembering stuff.
Little Easter eggs, and you see the big old statue of a Shao Kahn and all of that, and it's just too much of stuff that they just left out of something that could have been. They really could have capitalized on this, and by the end of the movie, I was left hollow. And now here's the thing. The thing that the studio was trying to go for, they was trying to go for this whole Cole thing, right? Like you said, this whole Cole and him being this descendant of Scorpion and all that. If you want to do Scorpion and Sub-Zero's, turmoil right, all you gotta do is look at the cartoon that came out, Scorpion's Revenge. Okay, have you seen that?
No, but I believe you, and this was kind of what I was talking about before, where I said I don't want this movie. Mortal Kombat has been telling good stories for like the last 5 or 6 years, and if you compare, I haven't seen the cartoon you're talking about, but if you compare,
it's sick,
I believe it.
It's an anime. It's an anime.
Oh, okay. But if you compare the story from MK11 and MK12 to this story, it's ridiculous. Like MK11, MK12 feel so big, so epic. There's what?
You mean from Mortal Kombat 9 to Mortal Kombat 11? There's no 12 yet.
Sorry, the last two Mortal Kombats. There's a million of them. I'm sorry. The last two Mortal Kombats. The stories are really big. The stories are really epic. There's time travel involved. There's moving between different realms involved. There's the level of backstory is dense. You understand why one species doesn't like another species, but now these two species have to work together in order to defeat this common enemy. There's all kinds of stuff going on here. In this movie, there are different species, but they're just freaks. They don't look. There's nothing important about them. Like Melina,
reptile.
Yeah, exactly. Reptile's just there. He's just there. Melina, she just has a crazy mouth. That's it. There's no explanation about the mouth. In Mortal Kombat lore, Melina's like crazy mouth is a huge thing. I feel like they dedicated like at least one game to the whole Melina Katana saga, and she's just there. And so I'm like, what? She doesn't even really do anything with the teeth and the mouth or nothing.
In case you guys don't know, Melina is a clone of Katana, and she is technically the sister, of course, to Katana, and the daughter of Shao Kahn.
Right.
So,
and
she's come out deformed.
But see, you're filling in an audience that I'm not sure if it exists, because it made me think like, who is this movie for? If you're watching Mortal Kombat, you know that stuff, right? Yeah. And if you're watching Mortal Kombat and you just happen to not know it, you don't care. This movie just gives you no reason to care. They don't even know who Katana is. If they watch this movie and they didn't play the games, they don't know who Katana is. They don't know who Shao Kahn is. So they still are lost. This movie is a ridiculous mess. It's
cash grab, all of that.
It's worse than I ever thought it would be. I told you when we watched the trailer, I said this movie will probably just be fine. You know, they don't really make awful movies like that anymore. I was like, it'll probably be okay. But this was like a truly bad movie. And it was a lot more liberal in its storytelling than I thought it would be, which I guess is a good thing. But I'm not sure what way the story was. Again, they invented a whole new character named Cole. Typically, Sub-Zero is depicted as the good guy and Scorpion the bad guy. In this movie, Scorpion's depicted as the good guy. So they swapped roles there. That whole tattoo thing, that's not in the games. They had big characters like Goro get killed immediately. So the movie did do some things, right? But I feel like all the things were bizarre and strange. And it's like, why would you do that? And like you said earlier, there was no tournament in Mortal Kombat. And the Mortal Kombat, like, whoa, that's crazy. That's wild.
It's like if they could make a movie like based upon that the tournament, like if they took the concept of one of the first movie. Hold on, don't shake your head. Wait a minute. I'm basically you're shaking your head like just leave it alone.
Leave it alone.
Just don't do it no more.
No, I told you the days of the days of movies being superior to video games are done. It's done. Like video games tell awesome stories now. I don't need a movie version of this. I told you at best we'll probably get an okay movie, but it was a garbage dump. This was absolute trash. I don't need this. They could have saved their money. Warner Brothers could have put this money towards like, I don't know, the Snyder Cut or something. Make it better. I don't know.
The new Batman movie.
Anything. This was a waste. I'm glad these actors got work, and I'm glad all the people who worked in this film, you know, got a paycheck. But this was bad, and I can't imagine a version of a Mortal Kombat movie that could be superior than what the game's doing right now. I can't imagine it. Maybe you need someone better with a better imagination than me, but I can't see it.
I've been looking at some of my friends on Facebook today about the movie, and even some of my family members. They're all saying stuff like, "Man, it was okay, wasn't bad," and all this stuff. And I'm like, you guys don't know what. If you guys are fans, and especially my cousin Larry, if you're watching this, okay, comment down below. All right, and let the people know what you thought of this, because what I seen is you actually like this movie, sir, and it's just
Damn it, Larry.
everyone. Oh, have you been seeing the memes? Have you been seeing the Sub-Zero memes? the jeans over the shoulders.
Oh yeah,
and
I've
they put
seen
a
that.
belt
Mhm.
around and they put
That's
the
funny.
mask on. And I'm like, you guys are ridiculous right now. This is not that serious. This movie is not. At the point when I saw them doing that, I was like, it's not that serious. They're trying to bait you in, and it's working, you know. And after seeing it now, I'm like, y'all gonna look stupid Monday morning.
Well, I honestly am glad you're saying this, because I was afraid, bro. I was like, I'm gonna trash this movie, and Tyrone's gonna talk about how much he loved it, and I was scared. I was like, oh. So I was really digging for like positive things to say. That's why I said the Chinese Japanese thing up front. I'm like, okay, I was really digging hard. But this movie's garbage, and I think the reason why people were so excited, I think the reason why there are memes, is because in movies there is a bit of a confusion here between something fun and something you recognize. I think movies really bank off of you just recognizing things.
It.
And you recognizing something isn't fun or interesting. It's just you recognize it. To me, it feels like, and this is just me personally, it feels like when you hear like a sample from of a song that you know, but in a worse song, you're like, it just reminds you of the better song. You're like, I should turn this garbage off and listen to the good version. Like, why am I listening to this?
These kid rappers, Little Fuzzy Foot, and he coming out with something that he sampled from Nas or something like that. He's like, they took the "If I Rule the World" beat.
No, yeah, exactly.
And Little Fuzzy Foot is up and saying, "If I rule the world." And all the strip clubs. You know what I'm saying? That's what Lil Fuzzy Foot rapping about. And you're like, I'll just listen to "If I Rule the World" by Nas.
Yeah, exactly. And you're like, you know what? Maybe I should listen to the Fugees. Your brain just goes everywhere else except where it's supposed to be. And that's, to me, was what I kept thinking about for this movie. And I think there's a consensus around the 1995 version that it's bad. But it's like fun bad. It's like nostalgia bad. It's like a funky weird movie. It's like a fun bad movie. But this movie makes that movie look like some kind of like Martin Scorsese thing. Like this was terrible. I was quite shocked. I was really shook. And I was really trying to look at this film from every single direction. I'm like, look, man, I'm tired of trashing films. I'm tired of it. I was looking at it from every direction.
Well, you've been on a roll lately with some trashing films. The only time you haven't been on a roll with trashing Tim, you've been actually giving some type of good stuff is our Mostly Wrong Opinions rewind episodes, which you should check out. Okay, click the link. Check them out, people.
Well, I think the reason why is because, like I said in the previous episode, a lot of movies can't clear the smallest hurdles. The smallest hurdles of like telling a story. What's the drama? What's the conflict? Where's the conflict? For this movie, for Mortal Kombat, for the bulk of the movie, the conflict was we don't know Cole's power, right? And why do I care? I don't care. I don't care. It's like Sonya Blade didn't have a power at all for a long. She didn't have a tattoo. So I'm like,
they gave Cole strikers weapons.
Yeah, it looked like his baton like thing, but his had it had like a it was like sharp on one end or something. I don't know. But see, why make him a descendant of Sub-Zero? Excuse me, of Scorpion, if he's absolutely nothing like Scorpion. Cole was a very boring character. So if you're gonna make up a new character, why make up?
He was ramen noodles.
Yeah,
with no flavor.
Okay, I agree. If you're gonna make up a new character, why make up ramen noodles without the flavor packet? Why do that? That doesn't make any sense. At least do something interesting.
Trying to stay healthy in these streets.
And so, trying to be healthy. This movie reminded me of a lot of things, and because it made up characters and did all kinds of wacky things that no one was expecting. It kind of reminded me of Fox's run on X-Men, because they would just make up X-Men for no reason, and you're like, who's this person? So this and they make up scenarios and things that didn't happen in the comics, and I felt like this movie, in that aspect, was kind of like Fox's X-Men. But the movie also reminded me a lot of Power Rangers. I could not, my mind could not get away from the Power Rangers the movie. And it's
2017 version?
Yeah. Well, no, not 2017 version, the old one from the 90s.
Oh, the ooze, Ivan
yeah,
Ooze.
Ivan Ooze, exactly. The dude, Ivan Ooze. And so what did Ivan Ooze do the whole movie? Nothing. He walked around pointing at things. And that's exactly what Shannon Song did. He did nothing. And then there was that thing in Raiden's, I guess, mud cave. I don't know what it was. It was some kind of like electric thing. I thought it was going to like do something, but it didn't do anything. It was just like there in the background. So I'm like, did they cut a scene? Because there's like that.
Oh yeah, that little that thing that's behind him. Yeah.
I'm like, what
it
is
looks
that?
like something. It looks like something that's connected to
the force field.
Not just the force field that was around them when he did that little thing with his staff, but it looks like it could be something connected to. If you guys played MK11, you would know that there is a person that's like a timekeeper. That is
Chronica,
yeah. And
so there wasn't connected to anything in this movie. Is that what you're saying? It's just a thing.
I don't think it's connected to anything in this movie. I think they just have it there because they'll be like, "Oh, you remember this from the It's actually connected." You know, with several movies down the line, if they thought they were going to make sequels or something, but which they actually do think they're going to make a freaking sequel, which. I don't think they're going to.
Well, so like that thing kind of reminded me of like the little spiral things in the Power Rangers movie. Like in Zordon's little area, he's got these little spiral things around him, and I kept thinking about the Power Rangers movie. So I couldn't. This movie reminded me of a lot of trash movies. And speaking of trash movies, Tyrone, I think you're absolutely right. I think they're going to make sequels, and that is a shame because. Can you imagine how mad, how furious you would be, Tyrone, if you went to the movie theater and saw this? If you weren't just sitting on your couch, like that would.
And you know what? This movie wasn't even announced at all until we found out that HBO Max was releasing all of their movies of this year on HBO Max. The same day as the theater, so we did not know. It was no press or anything in 2019 letting people know that there's a Mortal Kombat movie being made until last year during the pandemic.
Well, if that's true, that to me sounds like the studio had no confidence in this film, and they were expecting to just bury it or maybe not even release it at all. Maybe do like some kind of video on demand thing. But
that's what they were going to do.
But now,
video on demand or HBO Max.
Yeah,
it wasn't
streaming,
never intended to go to theater until they started getting traction on it. You know,
streaming is the new video on demand. So, like, even as a streaming film, I think this movie was boring and bad.
Yeah,
I did think about you though, because there was a scene where they were like, Jax was like, "You need to go to Gary, Indiana." I'm like, "Oh, Tyrone's loving this."
That's where I'm from, people. I was born in Gary, Indiana, man. You know, same place as Michael Jackson. Hee hee. So that still didn't save the movie for me. It didn't save the movie for me. What do you rate this movie, sir? I'll give you my rating first.
Good.
It's a 2.
Wow, that's your lowest rating you've ever given.
Yeah, because of blood. That's it. The amount that it is, and I was upset. And I say, people, if you want to see anything dealing with Mortal Kombat, play the awesome games. Watch the 1995 movie for nostalgia. Don't watch Annihilation because it's just hilarity. And definitely, if you want a Scorpion versus Sub-Zero movie, check out that anime that came out, and it's on Prime, Amazon Prime right now. I believe you can rent it for $3.99. It's called Scorpion's Revenge. Awesome story, blood and it's decapitations, bruh. It's awesome.
Well, I haven't seen the anime, but I do co-sign on everything you said. Like, we don't need this movie, and this movie made me a little scared. Honestly, it made me afraid for. I'm serious. It made me afraid for video game movies. Video games are really knocking it out of the park these days. they're really doing a really good job. I don't want to see a Mortal Kombat movie. I don't need that. That scratch has been itched. I don't need it. So, and that makes me think of like other video game properties that they're gonna make movies about. Like there's a miniseries for The Last of Us coming out. I don't need that. I don't need it. I like the cast, but The Last of Us is awesome. All they can do is mess it up. And I know there's going to be a great trailer, but the movie itself will be, or the show itself will have the possibility of being really bad. So I found this movie hard.
Dumpster juice.
I'm sorry?
Dumpster juice.
Dumpster juice. Like, I find this movie hard to rate.
You do? You find it hard to rate this movie?
Yeah, because I don't think this is because it's barely a movie, bro.
It's not a rateable movie.
It's barely a movie. Like, how is Mortal Kombat have no Mortal Kombat in it? 1, 2. How is Mortal Kombat slow? How do you go to sleep in a Mortal Kombat movie? 3. Where was the gore? This felt so strange to me. I didn't understand it, and
the gore.
I turned this movie off, and I can't lie to you, Tyrone. I'm gonna be honest with you. I was sad. It made me sad. It made me really sad. It made me afraid for video game movies, and it made me sad.
For a person that when we did the reaction to the trailer, and I told you what Blair said, our friend Blair, that I don't need it, and you agreed it's not really needed, but you had hopes for it being successful, and now it makes you sad.
It makes me sad because I don't know, man. I know somebody will like this movie, and that person is probably misguided.
On my timeline that likes this.
I feel like
on my timeline.
I know that's what makes me sad because I think people are confusing recognizing things with enjoying things, and that's really messed up, man. I feel like we're getting manipulated or something. It makes me sad. I don't like it. So if I were to rate this movie, I guess I'm gonna rate it higher than you. I'm gonna give it a 3, and I'm gonna give it a 3 because I think that I must not understand people, because again, this movie makes me sad. Maybe this movie just truly is not for me. Like, maybe there's just like a whole genre of film that is just not for Devin, and this stuff is just all things you recognize. Remember this, and that does nothing for me. Nothing at all. So maybe I'm just out of touch. I don't know.
It's the Coming to America effect.
Because they're doing things you recognize.
Yeah.
But see, at least when they did that, there was an attempt to tell a joke, right? In this movie, they just would show you a character like that lady. I don't even know her. I can't remember her name. The lady with the wings, and you're supposed to be like, oh yeah, I know her, and then they kill her off brutally 5 minutes later, and I'm like, okay, I guess if you're some kind of super fan, you'd be like, that's so-and-so with so-and-so and so-and-so's power, and she did this, and you're just supposed to get excited about something that you're not seeing on the screen.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, man. This movie makes me sad. Every once in a while, I get like this. Every once in a while, I'm like, do I like movies? Because this movie's terrible. I don't get it. I don't get it. And I was fully prepared for you to tell me you love this movie, Tyrone.
No.
And I was like, what am I supposed to do here? That's probably another reason why I was kind of sad.
You thought you were gonna hurt my feelings.
Well, my feelings were pre-hurt watching this film because I want to watch a good movie, man. I feel like we've been ripping movies for a good minute, and I want to watch a good one. Please give me a good movie. I'm desperate. I'm jonesing, man. I'm like,
good movie.
Itching for one, man.
See, secretly, people, he's like, someone give me The Last Jedi again.
The Last Jedi was fine. That's not a bad movie. And you know what? It's actually a good. I'm glad you spoke about Last Jedi, because The Last Jedi is a lot. Again, it is similar, or Star Wars in general. It's similar to this film, where you just remember that there are things they show you that you're just supposed to remember, and because you recognize it, you're supposed to like it. And then I feel like people have a hard time making up their own minds about movies. And so they allow other people to form their opinions for them. I think the amount of people who actually hated The Last Jedi is not as big as most people think. I think the people who dislike it, they either haven't seen it or they haven't honestly looked at it. And I think most people, the movie is just fine. And that movie to me is like, it's like the internet gone haywire. Like, make up your own mind. Don't let me or Tyrone or any internet reviewer tell you what to think about a movie. But when it comes to Star Wars and Last Jedi, you're supposed to hate The Last Jedi, which is like so stupid. It's the stupidest thing in the world. Don't ever let anyone tell you you're supposed to hate something or you're supposed to love something. Like, watch the movie honestly. Like, watch the movie with your own eyes. And I think most people, if you watch the movie with your own eyes, you will find a fine movie. Not great, but fine. Like, it's fine. There's nothing wrong with The Last Jedi. It is fine. And you know what? For Star Wars, that's better than every Star Wars film that's come out since 1981. So it's like,
we're not going to get too deep into this, but that's the reason that people, when they watch it with their eyes and they watch stuff in the past with their eyes and they see this on the same IP, it's like, that's not what I watched with my own eyes.
When it comes to The Last Jedi, and I listen to people who say they don't like The Last Jedi, they say the same things word for word. And you can find those word for word things, you can trace them back to like a reviewer. And so I'm like, you're just parroting someone you heard online. Like, did you even watch this film? So that's why I don't think most of these people are super fans that are comparing it to some 80s, one of the 80s movies, 80s Star Wars movies. I don't think these people have ever seen any other Star Wars movie. I think they're just parroting an influencer. And I want people to think for themselves. And Mortal Kombat tells you don't think for yourself. Mortal Kombat says, remember the games. Remember this, remember that, remember this. Don't think for yourself. And as long as you stop thinking, you will truly enjoy this film. Because there's lots of stuff to remember. There's lots of little Easter eggs and gizmos and gadgets. And, they even threw in, just like I predicted, they threw in a little Johnny Cage Easter egg at the end. Just like I said. And that's for people to say, I know that character, but he didn't do anything. He didn't even show his face. So like,
yep, they didn't even show his face on the poster.
Yeah, like, so come on, man. Use your brain, use your eyes. I don't know how you can rag The Last Jedi, right? I can understand you not liking it, fine, but I don't know how you can rag The Last Jedi, and I don't know how you can love Mortal Kombat. I think that's impossible if you use your brain. I think it's impossible. Right. I've gone on a rant, but this has been bothering me all day with Mortal Kombat.
Well, that's what you get, people. I actually gave it a lower score than Devin for the first time on Mostly Wrong Opinions. I'm just trying to weigh in people who don't see movies the way I see movies, and I can see how maybe they might like this movie. But even though I rated it higher, I do not recommend it for anyone. I don't know who this movie is for. If you don't like Mortal Kombat, this isn't for you. If you like Mortal Kombat, this isn't for you. I can't recommend this movie for anybody. Me neither. We agree here on Mostly Wrong Opinions. And that's what you get for the review of Mortal Kombat with no combat and Mortal Kombat. Mortal Kombat.
Get over here!
Kynar wins. You fucking beauty.
Next up on the chopping block here on Mostly Wrong Opinions, the finale to the Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Symbols are nothing without the women and men that give them meaning. We need someone to inspire us again.
The world's more complicated now.
In the last episode where we talked about our predictions for this episode, again, just about sniped it again.
Spot.
Now again, again, just because something's predictable does not make it bad, right? Again, I don't like people saying, "Oh, it was predictable, therefore it was bad." No,
Right.
it's about the journey. It's not necessarily the destination, right? We knew that there was a costume in there, right? You rightly said, which I didn't, but you rightly said there was a costume and wings. So you were very right too. But
I went. Spot.
yeah, exactly. Actually, you were a little more accurate than I was because you said both. So there you go. But the movie does start off. Oh, sorry, this episode.
Felt like a movie.
It did. This episode does start off with Falcon's new outfit. That's like the first thing you see.
Yep, and they're at the GRC Center where Carly is trying to stop this vote from happening, and she got all of the flag smashers or stompers. I can't remember. Smashers.
Flag stompers makes more sense though, right?
It does.
But yeah, I think it's smashers.
The Flash Smashers. They're all in there. They gathered up all the council. They put them. They're gassing them out, trying to get them out in the trucks and stuff. And here comes Sam, man. He's flying around up in the sky, and Bucky's on the ground, and freaking Sharon Carter comes over with some Mission Impossible 2 tech.
I think that tech is going to be so important in the future.
I think so too.
I think that was them seeding something big. But go ahead. We'll talk about that in a minute.
She
but go
takes
ahead.
off her freaking mask, and it was digitally undone, and her voice and everything. And Bucky was like, "You're taking a risk," and Sam's like, "You're taking a risk being out here." And they're both they're trying to stop Carly. Now, what's the dude that? Oh, what is his name? The French guy.
Batroc. Yeah,
Batroc. He's in there. And he's disguised as one of the Flash Smashers, and they're all getting the people out of there. And Sam comes through a freaking window, smash through. You see the freaking awesome new fit, and it's vibranium. It's a vibranium freaking wings and suit, and got the shield and everything. And the guy he comes through, and the guy's like, "Who are you?" He's like, "I'm Captain America." Yeah. I'm like, "Yes, you are, sir."
That was cool.
Okay. And
although, if we could pause for just a moment, you like the new outfit?
I do like the new outfit, man.
Yeah,
it's really...
I think this is probably as good as that outfit could look. It's super comic accurate. Oh my gosh! I mean, they pulled out all the stops. Just about every curve in the outfit comes from the comics. Like, wow, it's super comic book accurate. That being said, I never really liked that costume in the comic book, but this is as good as that costume can possibly look in real life. Because man, I thought they did a great job on the outfit. I would like to say though, I think they should stop connecting the neck to the helmet or to the mask. It
does look a little weird.
Yeah, it looks better when they break it up. Like with Batman, when Batman's helmet is kind of a helmet, it looks better. Captain America, he wears a helmet, but connecting the mask, it doesn't look right because when he turns, the whole thing pulls on his face. So
right.
That to me that looks like a Halloween
costume. Unless they have some
costume.
type of give, unless they have like a give or something.
It looks like it did have some give, but it just I could see it pulling as he was like moving his face. So,
yeah.
But anyway, I do agree. It looked great. It looked good, and its wings are blue, which is like kind of cool because they were red before.
Yeah. So they're getting all the people down in the downstairs into these trucks while Sam is fighting Batroc upstairs, and it looked like Batroc had the upper hand on him for a good minute, until he kicked him out there, and he said au revoir, or I don't know what he said. He threw the freaking shield out of the freaking window, went out there, caught it. I was like, yo,
yeah, that was great. Yeah, I agree. He threw the shield out and then flew and caught it. Like, super cool. It's something the original Captain America obviously couldn't do because he doesn't fly. So I think that was cool.
And so they had some of the council people, the hostage on a helicopter, and also there's hostages in the truck downstairs. Sharon's down there, and she's watching all this happen. And she puts like this bomb on one of the people who locked the lock the people in the truck, and it's like was it mercury?
Oh yeah, some sort of mercury thing. Yeah, it was like an acid bomb or something.
I was like, jeez,
that was a kind of a clear shift towards evil, because we never saw that guy die either. He was just screaming.
Burning.
Yeah, and then they cut the camera. I'm like, whoa, that's pretty mean.
It kind of showed you where Sharon is going, and then also the power of her technology that she has now.
Yeah.
So, I'm
so excited for that though.
I know you are. I know you are.
That's good stuff, man. That's good stuff. I like it. I like it when good guys go bad, bad guys become good. I like that switch. That's fun, man. Like when you saw Sharon, it was like she got like a hero moment when you first see her for the first time. She's rescuing people, and it turns out she's like an absolute monster now. I love it. That's good. Good stuff.
Right. At the same time all this is happening, Sam is trying to get this helicopter under control, and he tells the new Red Wing to scan the helicopter for anyone who can fly the plane other than the Flash Smasher that's flying the plane itself. And then was a Red Wing, he sees it, and then he sees there's a woman in there, and he actually taps into the phone, and he sends her a text and says, pick up your phone in about 5 minutes or 5 whatever, and he says that we're gonna have to take over the plane, and we're gonna count down from 5 o'clock. Not from 5 o'clock, but from 5 to gonna have to be precise. And the move that he does was so cool.
Yeah, that whole sequence
was so
cool.
sick.
But what
the
if,
whole sequence was cool.
But what if Red Wing was like, no, there's no one that can fly the helicopter?
Oh, you're dead.
Yeah, exactly. So I thought I was like super convenient. It's like, oh, thank God, there's like a super brave person who can fly the helicopter right now. Like I felt kind of silly.
Yeah, because it was silly. Awesome move that he does there. And right after that, the next scene that Bucky is about to get to the people that's in those vans there, those trucks, and he comes over there, fights the awesome motorcycle trick that he does. Oh, yeah. Fights the main big dude that's Carly's partner in there, and all of a sudden, Mr. John Rent-A-Cap is coming out of nowhere, and then she's like, "I'm sorry that your friend died. I didn't want to kill anyone that did not matter." I'm like, oh, that's the wrong thing to say. Yeah. And then he goes insane, and they start fighting. I
loved everything about U.S. Agent in this episode, because we talked in our previous episode about how U.S. Agent's new shield better not bounce. And that shield did not bounce. The sound it made to me I thought it was great. It was a great sound. It was like boom, boom. He threw it, and it just sounded like a trash can lid, because that's pretty much what it was. And I like that you could see like the nasty rivets behind it, and it dented up when people punched it. And by the end of the fight, it was just like warped and nasty. I thought that was fun. That's a good time. And I liked how he used it, right? Like the original shield, the original vibranium shield. You throw it and it goes shoo, bing, something like really cool. This one, it just goes like brown, and he picks it up and he's just like hitting people with it. He's just like brown, brown, brown. To me, it just sounds like so brutal. Like that's the sound that an evil shield should make. An evil shield should dent up and have nasty rivets and make nasty trash can noises when you slam it around. I loved all that.
Yeah, it was crazy. And at the time, Carly was having the upper hand on him, and then all of a sudden he gets some good hits in there too. And it was just a really good fight between Bucky and the other guy too. Mm-hmm. And most of that scene just went kind of fast, and it comes to a part where the van is coming over the edge into where this construction area is, and Walker has a choice where does he continue to chase after Carly, or does he save the people? and he's like, ugh, he's fighting with his brain, like the serum is messing with his brain. So he ends up trying to save the people, but all the freaking Smashers are coming to get him. Yeah,
he makes the heroic choice. Like, that's awesome. When your villain, who we initially established used to be a hero, he's faced with a choice, and he makes the right choice, and like, that's good stuff. Your characters should always be making decisions, especially big decisions that define the character. In that moment, we learned so much about Walker. He really is a good guy, and he really does do the right thing, usually the wrong way, and sometimes for the wrong reason, but he does try and do the right thing. Like, that's great storytelling. Awesome. Did any of this ever happen in Mortal Kombat, Tyrone? Tell me what choice Cole ever made in the entire film. He didn't make a single choice. I like that this side character in Falcon the Winter Soldier was making great choices, and like, that's fun, because I didn't expect it. I expected him to let the people die, and then I expected, I don't know, the new Captain America to save everybody, but no, they let the villain at least attempt to save people. Yeah. That's good. It shows that he does have a heart. He's not some kind of two-dimensional monster. Good stuff.
Yeah. And then it showed Sam, a person that doesn't have any superpowers, push up this truck with his jetpack.
Yeah.
And save the people. And then there was some bystanders, and then there was a brother over there that was like, man, that's the Black Falcon. And then this younger dude that was like, nah, that's Captain America right there. And I was like, you're damn right. And then the other, because they split up when they were down there after Bad Rock freaking shot some smoke bombs so they could all clear out. And they were able to split up. And before that happened, Carly was like, it's like, you joined sides with him. It's like, and Sam was like, I'm trying something new. You should try it.
Yeah, she said she was looking at his outfit. Like, you bought into all this, she said bullshit, about him wearing the stars and stripes. And he was right. He was like, I'm trying my best to really actually help people. I'm not stuck in my ways. I can try and learn. I can change. She could not change. She was immovable. Always a good trait for your villain, to be unwilling to change. So, again, good stuff. And they do all that stuff really fast, which is kind of a criticism for this episode. But all the exposition stuff happens really, really quick. Like, they just like say it and it's gone. Like, you joined up.
With the exception of one thing. One thing that's the character of Sam, and it's just ugh.
But that didn't move anything forward. But yes, it did show that this was a different Captain America.
Yeah, and boy, the waterworks was heavy on there for me, man. I was up there, and the lakes were running on two parts, but we'll get to that in a minute. But so they're in this area where they're trying to find Carly, and they're trying to find the rest of the Flag Smashers, and Bucky and John. They went to go find those people, and then Sam is trying to find Carly. Carly runs into Sharon, and Sharon reveals what we already knew throughout the whole series, that she is the power broker.
Yep.
She has all the power, and she's like, when you could have stayed in, she's talking to Carly, they have their guns up, and she put her guns down, and she's like, you could have stayed in Madripoor, come back, we can change the world together. And she's like, you just want to basically use this as your power pawns, and now if you don't have the power, then what's the use of a power broker?
Yeah, she was like, it was revealed that the Flag Smashers.
Flag Stompers.
Yeah, Stompers makes more sense. But the Flag Smashers were essentially just an extension of the power broker. That they were really just her soldiers. Like, that's fun. That's good stuff. And you talked about how they revealed that she's a power broker, and we already knew that. Yes, they couldn't have yelled that at us anymore. Like, damn, we knew that like 4 episodes ago.
Sharon's the power broker.
Yes,
really?
They were screaming it.
Yes.
But see, any other movie would have just stopped there. Boom. Sharon's a power broker, roll credits. But no, there's a scene later where we learn the implications of having someone who has so much ties to the good guys actually be evil. That she is able to like spy on the good guys. And because we know, the audience knows that Sharon's a power broker, but smartly, none of our heroes, not our new Captain America, not Sam, no one else knows she's the power broker. So that means every time she appears, every word she says will be loaded from now on, because she's got another
Trick up her sleeve.
Exactly, she's got a trick up her sleeve. So that means for Sharon, there's not a single scene, there's not a single gesture, there's not a single eye twitch that you won't be analyzing. That is good stuff. They really set up some really good stuff here.
And Batroc comes out. Batroc comes out of nowhere, and he's like, "You owe me 4 times more." And then she's like, "I don't bargain," and she shoots him, and then Carly shoots her. And then Sam comes out of nowhere. He's like, "You gotta keep doing this. I gotta stop you." So they fight, and she's just over aggressive teen, and she's just like, fight me back. He's like, I'm not doing that. You are just mad. You are lost right now. And she gets the upper hand on Sam.
But the fight really starts though is because Sam comes to the fight a little bit late, and this is super key, that the shooting that the Mexican standoff that you're talking about already occurred before Sam came. So all he saw was Carly standing over Sharon, and Sharon shot. It looks very much like the villain has done something truly atrocious. It's like the worst thing in the world. The villain has shot Captain America's like friend, his maybe potential love interest. This looks terrible, but we know that that's the power broker laying on the floor. That's not just Sharon trying to save the day. Again, everything now is loaded. Like that's great. That's like really fun. Because he would have, if he knew what we knew,
he wouldn't even care.
He would have acted differently. He would have acted differently. Yeah.
And but she gets the upper hand on Sam, and all of a sudden she was about to pull that trigger, and Sharon comes out of nowhere and shoots her dead. And it breaks Sam. It breaks him because he's like, man, God, it didn't have to be this way. It did not have to be this way.
Right. Well, because Sam wouldn't fight her. Like she was begging him to fight her, and Sam would not fight back. He just defended himself. He blocked her hits, but he never threw a punch because he was trying to, just like he was in the previous episode, trying to calm down and de-escalate the situation. He didn't want to fight her, but it looked like it might have been working for a second. But then, yeah, you're right. It was unclear whether or not she would have actually shot Sam. She didn't get a chance to make that decision because Sharon just shot.
She said she was sorry, and Sam, perfect shot too. Comes with her body, flies her to the ambulance in front of all these news cameras, the senator that they saved, and the people that's in these office of the GRC, and the senator comes down.
Well, I think it's important though that Carly looks the way she looks, because I was kind of wondering why they cast the woman they cast, who looks very young and very, very childlike. And so in the end, when Carly's saying her last words, she's never looked more childlike. And so it's like this girl who at first glance looks like she wouldn't hurt a fly has been militarized to such an extreme degree that she gave her life for this cause. So, and again, I think you're about to talk about it now, but Sam talks to these senators about that.
Yeah,
that exact
and
same point.
It whoever wrote this episode, man, it hit heavy, man, to me, because it's like Sam is basically telling people that when you felt helpless being trapped, you feel how the rest of the people feel. And you have to do something about that. You have to change it. You have to change the narrative of terrorist, thug, and all those negative words. When these people, all they want is to be able to live right and better. And you're making these decisions that's going to affect their lives. for the future. And are you doing it? Are you saying these things that is going to actually help the people? Because he says that. Are you going to help the people that making these decisions is going to actually help the people? Or are you just, or is going to be the people that looks just like you and be in your world?
Right. He said, when you're making these decisions, who's in the room with you? Is it the actual people who will be affected, or is it just more people that look like you? And we all know what the answer to that is. And I thought that was super powerful. And he even said that these senators together, they have almost, at least on Earth, they have almost as much power as Thanos did. And they're just wielding that power willy-nilly without even really talking to or considering all the collateral damage. Like that, I was watching. That's good stuff.
Go ahead.
And it's I'm sorry to cut you off, bro, but it's an interesting departure because Steve Rogers, at least in the MCU, he never really got involved with politics. He stayed way out of it. And here we've got a new Captain America doing something completely new, and he's like right in the middle of it.
And I watched a couple of the reactors after this, and they were talking about this episode. And one of the reactors I watched, his name is Andre the Black Nerd, and he said, it's funny how Marvel can get it right within or understand the levity, that's a word or whatever of the situation, instead of the real senators in real life. They don't understand this stuff. It's like they understand it or they just don't care. And Marvel wrote,
right, that's more of the issue. They don't care.
Marvel just put that out, and it was just beautiful the way that they put it. And Sam was on TV, and freaking Isaiah was watching. He was like, oh my God. He had an oh my God look, and when the senator said, you just don't understand, he's like, how could I not understand? I'm a black man wearing the stars and stripes on me.
Right. That was his most powerful line. That he was like a lot of people, and I think he was talking about black people and white people because Isaiah's black, and he certainly didn't want a black Captain America. But he said a lot of people will hate me just for standing here wearing what I'm wearing. Like, I thought that was super powerful because that's pretty much what I was thinking. I was like, man, I bet you there are a lot of angry white fanboys watching this.
It's real life.
Yeah, he's talking both within the MCU and in the actual real world. A lot of people will hate this because it's a black Captain America.
It's, oh my God, man, the writing was crazy. I was in my living room crying, okay, because it's you guys gotta understand, we get on this YouTube and we do this because we love it. And we know that we are two black entertainers here trying to entertain you, give you movie knowledge and reviews and stuff like that. But when we come with some type of media that hits really hard with all the stuff that we watch and reviewed, from Judas and the Black Messiah to Billie Holiday, to all these things that just hits us as black people, with all the things that's going on in the news with the cops, is what they're doing to our people, and you see that on television, and the representation, the words that's coming out of this man's mouth, it touches me to the fullest.
Sometimes when you look in the real world and you see what you see, and it's usually pretty terrible, and then you turn on entertainment, and we touched on this briefly when we reviewed the first episode. But a lot of entertainment, they pretend like none of this is happening. They pretend like everything is perfect, like we live in some kind of post-racial utopia. But at the same time, they mostly star white guys. If a black person's there, he's like the best friend, or he's just there to give some kind of advice or something. And so you can always feel it simmering under the surface. And when I feel it simmering under the surface and I call it out, right? A lot of people, they say, "Oh, why are you talking about race all the time?" And I'm like, exactly. With Godzilla, I'm like, because it's there. You don't see it. It makes me feel like I'm crazy. It makes me, because I'm feeling I'm getting gaslit. I'm like, I can see that you made that. And speaking of Godzilla, I can see that you made that Native American girl explicitly Native American and wearing a headband and gave her superpowers because of her race. I can see that. Why is that in the movie? That's gross. And when white people are like, "Oh, you're thinking too hard," it makes you feel like you're being gaslit. But this movie puts it out there. It puts it all out there, and they tell you, this speech in particular says exactly what I think most people are thinking. And I think that's great. I think that's awesome. I think it's like great storytelling. And Marvel, especially Marvel at this stage, they're under no obligation to do this. Marvel can coast. They can coast forever. They are printing money. Okay, and even if they weren't printing money, they work for Disney, who also prints money. Like they don't need to do this kind of stuff. But here they are. They're doing it. And I think that's just like that's really good and really profound, and I can totally understand how it can be really moving. I didn't cry or anything like that because I didn't think it was that great. But I can see how
I'm always emotional, bro.
I can see how this can make you emotional because again, you feel like you're being gaslit sometimes, and for this movie, for this show, it's like for such a big entity that doesn't have to do that. They're like kind of acknowledging that you even exist. And again, I don't know if most white people understand how that feels to be ignored most times, and then finally someone just glances your way. 'Cause that's really all this was, right? It was kind of a glance in our. This isn't anything profound. Yeah, it was like, oh, I see you over there. Anyway, back to the show. Like this really wasn't anything profound, but you do feel like you've been seen, and that's super important. That's like a big deal. It does feel good. And it feels good because it comes in a medium that I happen to love. I love comic books. I love movies. It's a comic book movie. Like, dang, I've never felt more seen in my life. That's awesome.
And then what Bucky said was pretty funny. He said, I didn't hear everything you said, but because I kind of cut out when after you said what is it? What did he say?
Sorry, I was texting, and so all I heard was the black guy in Stars and Stripes. Nice job, Cap.
Thanks.
He said, nice speech, Cap. He said, Cap. He was like, thanks, man. And that was just so cool. Yeah. And then it does cut to where Bucky, and this made me cry too, because he had to tell the old man what happened. Because he's taking the advice of what Sam told him in the previous episode, that you have to do the work, and if you really want to make real change. And he came to him, he sat down, and he said, "I have to talk to you about your son." And he was killed by the Winter Soldier, and that person was me. And it's the feels, man.
See, I thought I kind of rushed it. I kind of wish they could have sat there.
It did feel kind of rushed. I did want to see like the natural reaction from the father,
Yeah, because the whole scene, you pretty much said the whole scene almost word for word. Like it was really short. So I kind of wish they lingered on that moment, because there's a lot of pain and anguish. But I know the show has got places to go, things do. It can't stay here forever. But I kind of wish they would have stayed there for a second.
And then it showed him the therapist. He gave her the booklet with all the names scratched off, and it said thank you for helping him. And then it cuts to Sam going to go see Isaiah again with that rude Patriot kid. Open the door. He's like, you need to learn some manners.
Right.
And he talks to Isaiah in the back, and Isaiah says, you did good. You ain't no Malcolm or no Martin or no what'd he say? Nelson Mandela. He's like, true. But he said, we bled for this country. We built this country, and I'll be damned if anybody tells me that I can't fight for it, especially after the people who came before me, including you. And I was like, my man,
Yeah, that was good. And I thought it was important that his grandson was there for that scene and the next scene, because I think that's planting a little seed as to why he might become the Patriot in the future. Because, he hears his grandfather, who was so upset and disappointed with the country kind of change his tune.
Sam tells him that I want to take you somewhere, and he takes him to the Captain America, the display and the museum, and Sam was able to get a statue of Isaiah and some engravings on the wall that show, his placement in history as the black Captain America back in the day.
I like that the memorial included not just Isaiah, but included his whole company. Like if you kind of pause and read it, it talks about like not just like Isaiah, but all the other Isaiahs who didn't survive. Right. So that was really good. And like you said, that mirrors. That's what I love about fiction is you can talk about big things without talking about them so directly, because it mirrors what happens in the real world where whole people have been erased from history, and their incredible influence have been erased from history, and people forget about them or dismiss them. And this was Sam's way of making sure people never forget Isaiah.
It was amazing. So after that, it cuts to Sam's back in Louisiana, and it's like a whole little fish fry. They got the business up. The whole community's there. Freaking Bucky's coming playing with the kids. He's like Uncle Bucky, and the kids are on his arm. It's just fun stuff. They look out into the distance. They're buddies now. They're basically family now. And they're family. They're more than just buddies. They're family. And then it says Captain America and the Winter Soldier. Now, I'm thinking, and it's been rumored that unlike WandaVision, because that was a one-off, that could have some type of stories leading to everything when it comes to Doctor Strange. I think they said that there'll be another season 2.
Maybe. I don't really care. If they do another one, great. I'm still really into this one. And I liked how they getting the new Captain America was so profound within this show and the MCU that it changed the name of the show. So like the show began as the Falcon and the Winter Soldier and ended as Captain America and the Winter Soldier. Like that's really powerful, good, man. Like, yeah, that's moving. You're like, oh wow, okay. It's like he is no longer the Falcon. He is Captain America.
And now, we know that Torres has those wings, and we know that Torres is the Falcon in the in the comic books. He probably will be the Falcon. The way Marvel sets up things is genius.
Yeah, they're really good at it. They're really good at it. They're good at, for the most part, they're good at keeping it out of the way of the story. Like it doesn't like railroad the story altogether. It's not up front
and in your way and massive to be like, hey, look. But they give you an intriguing thing to make you want to go look and say, who is that? That could be something.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm gonna do research.
Like compare that to the original Justice League cut. I guess maybe the second one, I don't know. But I guess the original Justice League cut, where they tried to seed something in the future by having the Flash show up in a dream to Bruce Wayne. And it was just this weird, bizarre thing, and you're like, the fuck is that?
You were right.
No one comments on it.
You were right.
Yeah, exactly.
It's all about Lois.
And you're just like, what is that? and then the movie's like, anyway, and it just continues. And you're like, what? But this, like you said, it's a lot more organic. You're like, oh, I see why this person's here. Understand why that person's there. There's a lot more planning within the MCU, and it things feel earned. Like I feel like the Falcon deserves to be Captain America now. Like he earned it, and even Torres deserves to be the Falcon.
It's like it went through its ups and downs and trials and tribulations of does he deserve this shield? What the shield means to him? What the shield means to Bucky? All into one. And what the moniker means to the world in America when John Walker did what he did, and how his redemption happens. Because after that, it shows John Walker And what's the Julia
Val.
It shows that she probably had to do with the Flag Smashers, the other Flag Smashers, by the way. Cut back to earlier part in the episode where they did get captured, and they got. Since we're from Atlanta, we know that that's underneath the Georgia Dome. I mean not Georgia Dome, but the
Mercedes-Benz Stadium.
Where they got captured, and the security guard was like, "One world, one people," and Zemo's butler blew up the truck where they were in, and Zemo heard about on the radio because he's in the rat prison, and Val says, "Oh, look, our buddy." It seems like Zemo got the last laugh, and she's like, "Maybe I set that up, or maybe I didn't, or maybe I did."
Well, maybe I did. No, I'm kidding. I didn't. Or did I?
See, I didn't like that scene at all. I was like, no, don't do this, Marvel. Just make up your mind. Did she do it? Did she not? Make up your mind. Don't do that. They just left it. They left it open so they can do whatever they want later. I didn't like that at all.
She's supposed to be the leader of the Thunderbolts, right?
Yeah, that's what it seems like. But I'm just like, just don't have her say it.
Be quiet.
Don't do this. Maybe I did. Maybe I didn't. Maybe I did. Like, make up your mind, or just don't talk about it. Like, I did not like that part at all. And I was like, damn it, that happened so late. That's all I'm gonna remember is her saying that. But yes, you're right. They cleaned up things, so there are no super soldier people because all super soldier people got blown up. So
now
that's nice and neat. Like, boom,
boom, boom. Now, the only super soldier people that's left that we know of is Bucky and John Walker. And John Walker, it seems like he has his redemption here because he got a new suit, got a new name,
right,
of U.S. agent.
I liked the navy blue. The new suit is black, but I liked the navy blue only because I like that navy blue is like. It's like a darker blue. It's like, yes, he's a dark Captain America. Okay, so the black to me, it looks fine, but I like the symbolism of the navy blue. But yes, he got a new outfit. Marvel's all about giving people new outfits. Everybody got new outfits. Sam got a new outfit. U.S. Agent got a new outfit. And now Sharon has a new title as the Power Broker. Yep, everybody got new outfits.
She has a new title, and she, at the cutscene, the government let her back in, pardoned her with everything. Now she has her role back in the U.S.
Yeah, they gave her a job back. Oh no!
I'm like, oh, y'all really fucked.
Yeah, they gave her a powerful position. I was like, oh my, do you know what you're doing?
It's like y'all messing because she gets down those steps. She calls someone. She's like, we got secret tech confirmation. We got all this stuff. Let's get ready to it's gonna be to the highest bidder, baby.
I liked how. Before that phone call, they're like, we are so sorry for the terrible things that have happened to you. Would it be okay if we give you your old position back and you'll oversee this? And she's like, okay, thank you. And then she walks around and she's like, it kind of reminded me of of Michael Jackson, at the end of Thriller, where he's like.
What's the problem?
Yeah, exactly. He's got the red eye or the yellow eyes.
Yeah. But this whole series, man, I'm gonna rate this whole series, dude. You may disagree with me, man, but this series is a top-notch 10 Marvel experience for me, included with just the action, included with all how they pieced everything together throughout this whole thing. Yes, I wish they gave a little bit more, and it was probably because of COVID restrictions and things like that, to where they couldn't film more, and some things were probably rushed, but because they had all the black excellence in this and how it made me, like I said before, when it comes to art and how it makes me feel as a black man, and it hits something in my heart to make me feel proud of it. I'm gonna give it a 10. That's what I do.
Okay. This episode, I thought, was, if you take the message of the episode and you set it aside, I thought it was kind of a sloppy episode. The things buttoned up really neatly, perfectly neat, and things like you said they did kind of rush through things, but the message of the overall, you can't, if you look at the whole episode as a whole, the message is there, and the message I thought was great, and I thought the story was really good. So this episode, I think I would give this episode maybe a 7.5 or an 8, and as far as the show as a whole, I'd probably give it a really positive 8.5. I thought it was really good. I thought it was, I like television shows that are short, and this one was short. I like that. I like that there wasn't
drag it on
15 episodes. Yep. No, there's no real filler episodes, not really. So like every episode gave us something to talk about. Like, that's pretty crazy. Like most TV shows, they don't do that. There's a lot of boring shows or boring episodes where there's nothing to do. So I liked it, and I like that this did have a good effect on the MCU, and I feel like they're really seeding the Secret Wars and the Thunderbolts really well. If you don't know, the Thunderbolts are like an evil version of the Avengers, and it seems like Val's going to lead them with U.S. Agent. That's cool. And the Secret Wars is where... Secret Invasion, not Secret Wars. Secret Invasion is where the Skrulls quietly kill off some of your favorite characters and take their places. And then one day they just all reveal themselves to be Skrulls. So I think that's what is happening with Nick Fury. I think that's why he's in space. I think that's why we saw a Skrull at the end of WandaVision. And with all these double crossings and all that stuff with Sharon Carter, I think they're really setting up some serious espionage for the MCU moving forward. So I'm excited for moving forward. I really liked this show. So positive all around. Good job, Marvel.
Good job. The way you said, good job, Marvel. You did what you were supposed to do.
Yeah, you did. Marvel's really good at least, at a minimum, meeting your expectations. Like, that's really good. Like, that's apparently that's really hard, because we've been watching a bunch of crappy movies. Apparently that's really difficult. So dang, like, good job, Marvel. You did it.
Yeah, I enjoyed this, and next we're gonna be what's up?
Oh, wait. Before you get going, there was some stuff I wanted to talk about. So I talked to him in a previous episode about Captain America, about Steve. And I said, is Steve dead?
Steve dead? Yeah.
And I'm like, are they ever going to acknowledge this? They kind of did. When Sam bursts through the window and he says, I'm Captain America. There's a guy who said, I thought Cap was on the moon.
Wait, who are you? Captain America. I thought Captain America was on the moon.
I'm like, Cap's on the moon? Is that what people think? Where people think Captain America is?
Yeah, that's probably where they think, yeah.
Apparently, the public thinks Captain America is on the moon? That's really interesting. Like, what does that mean moving forward? Too? No, I heard him say it, and I was like, what? Did he say what I thought he said?
Wait, who are you? Captain America. I thought Captain America was on the moon.
So I rewound it, and I turned on closed captions just to make sure I could read what the script was saying. And it said, I thought Cap was on the moon.
Wait, who are you? Captain America. I thought Captain America was on the moon.
So the public thinks Captain America is still alive and on the moon? I was like, I didn't expect that.
Why would he be there?
I have no clue. And I did not think they'd ever acknowledge or talk about where Captain America is right now. But apparently, people think he's on the moon? What is that? What is that? What are we doing with that?
I don't know.
That's intriguing. I don't know what that is.
I thought the guy said something like, I thought John Walker or something was was, I don't know.
Wait, who are you? Captain America. I thought Captain America was on the moon.
He said, I thought Cap was on the moon. That's what he said. And so maybe he was referring to John Walker. I don't know. But he said, I thought Cap was on the moon.
I thought Captain America was on the moon.
I thought Captain America was on the moon.
Weird.
Definitely weird, man. But so that's what we got here for you guys on this episode. Thank you for clicking the video. We appreciate it if you would leave a comment down below. My name is Tyrone again, and you can find me on my band's Instagram at yerp_ATL. And yes, I am a gamer. I do game on twitch.tv/YerpNationGaming. And please do me a favor, follow me on my reaction channel. I've been doing a lot of good reactions over there on Yerp Nation Reactions, please. Thank you.
And I am Devin. You can find me right here on Mostly Wrong Opinions. I also have a personal Instagram that is DevinHarris29. You can find some of my writing at geeksleeprepeat.com. And I co-sign on Tyrone. You should definitely follow his reaction page.
Yep. And find me here, of course, Mostly Wrong Opinions. I ain't going nowhere.
and check out our TikTok.
Check out TikTok, man. We be doing our thing over there. I think I might do a little bit dancing pretty soon, with my shoulder shoes. You know what I'm saying? Subscribe to the channel. Remember, turn on your notification bell to stay updated with our videos here, and leave a like or dislike on this video. It is your opinion, but just remember, it's mostly wrong. Have a good day, people.
A rat done bit my sister Nell with Whitey on the moon. Her face and arms began to swell, and Whitey's on the moon. I can't pay no doctor bills, but Whitey's on the moon. 10 years from now, I'll be paying still while Whitey's on the moon. You know, the man just upped my rent last night, cause Whitey's on the moon. No hot water, no toilets, no lights, but Whitey's on the moon. I wonder why he's upping me, cause Whitey's on the moon? Well, I was already giving him $50 a week, and now Whitey's on the moon. Taxes taking my whole damn check. The junkies make me a nervous wreck. The price of food is going up. And as if all that crap wasn't enough, a rat done bit my sister Nell with Whitey on the moon. Her face and arms began to swell, and Whitey's on the moon. Was all that money I made last year for Whitey on the moon? How come I ain't got no money here? Whitey's on the moon. You know, I just about had my fill of Whitey on the moon. I think I'll send these doctor bills, air mail special. To Whitey on the moon. Thank you.